You're watching the Michigan Football Report. I am your host, James Yoder. I've been delegated to Studio L back here. We've got some construction going on. We're adding 4 studios here at Chat Sports HQ, and so all kinds of things going on. And it's like NFL cut day, so all of our studios are taken up. So I'm in the future studio. By next week, this will be a real one, but former conference room. And today's show is going to have some big-time rumors on this upcoming game. I've talked to my number one insider, who talked to the parent of a player on the Michigan football team with some interesting info on the offensive game plan. But we start today's show talking a little bit recruiting. 5-star super quarterback, 2024 high school junior Jadyn Davis will make his 3rd visit to Michigan in the last 4 months. A lot of chatter when he went to the barbecue, the big house, 4 weeks ago now, with 3 or 4 high school teammates, his coach, his dad, his sister, his mom, that Michigan thought maybe they could get a commitment out of him. He wasn't supposed to visit for this game. Now he will. He's going to be bringing 2 of his high school teammates. You guys probably are familiar with these names. Channing Goodwin, whose dad is former Michigan offensive lineman, NFL offensive lineman Jonathan Goodwin, and Jordan Shipp, both high 3-star, low 4-star area wide receivers in the 2024 class, and potentially top 100 2023 recruit, their teammate cornerback Chris Peel, supposed to visit this weekend for the game against Colorado State. A lot of rumblings out there that it would make sense for him to just shift his official visit to Michigan back and go up there with his 3 junior teammates for the night game against Hawaii. So Michigan could be getting a ton of action from one simple high school in North Carolina with Jadyn Davis and his 3 teammates for 2023 and then the 3 2024 guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, though. It is youtube.com/Michigan TV, the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. A stat that I saw out there that I wanted to just trickle out there. One time in the program's history, 2016, Michigan has scored 200 points in the month of September, right? Back then, they scored 63 in the opener. Then it was like 49, 47, 44, something like that. And if you remember, Michigan was leading the country in scoring midway through the season in that 2016 team. Will and Space for first year and some others really didn't go that way down the stretch of that year. But the fact that it happened one time in school's history, it happened with Jim Harbaugh just, 6 years ago, Harbaugh's 2nd year at Michigan. I think that's potentially could happen this year, this September, starting with Colorado State. So let's take a look at their schedule here. Colorado State, Hawaii, UConn, and Maryland. Could Michigan average 50 points per game in those 4 matchups? I don't think it's crazy to think about. That 2016 team, 208 points over 4 games, averaging 52 points a game in the month of September. I think it's going to happen. I think Michigan might score 50 in the first half against Colorado State. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But that is the schedule for the month of September. Could Michigan score 200 points in this month? But I want to know from you guys, how many points will Michigan score in September? 4 games. I want you guys to tell me the total points in those 4 games. Comment it down below. Let me know how many points Michigan will score in September. I'm actually going to go 217, random number, but let me know what you guys think. Comment below. It is Michigan Football Flash Mob Tuesday. This is the first Tuesday we're doing it. We're going to do it every Tuesday throughout the season. And last week it was to go spam Big Game Boomer with some Go Blues for his ridiculous tweet on college football rivalries. Now, Gary McNamara, Cade's dad, I think he needs our support, needs some love, because there are a lot of haters and losers among the Michigan fan base. Obviously, some rival fan bases. I saw some Ohio State fans in there. But Gary McNamara right there. It's Gary McNamara, 23. He basically took a screenshot and basically said, so proud of you, son, something along those lines. I'm going to put the tweet down in the comments and the description of this video. So I want you guys to do, click on the tweet from Gary McNamara, at Gary Mac 23, and show him some love, right? Say, hey, great tweet. Cade, we're supporting you. Something like that, because a lot of people saying, oh, well, he had all this high percentage passes because he did only checkdowns and all this other stuff. I thought it was completely ridiculous when I saw the Michigan fans making idiots of themselves. So show support on Twitter for Gary McNamara. Make sure these Michigan football parents don't think, when it's not necessary that the fan base is coming at them and talking trash. When I think coming off a Big Ten title, the fan base should be pretty much all in support of every player and their parents. All right, folks, we are just under 700 subscribers away from 21,000. As I told you, I'm going to the Michigan-Hawaii game September 10th. So before I land in Detroit on next Friday night, September 9th, can we get to 21,000 subscribers? If you subscribed in the past, send the link to a friend, youtube.com/Michigan TV. If you hadn't, get your head out of your you-know-what and subscribe to the channel. We have a video every single day from now through the end of Michigan's 2022 season. Let's get into our rumors roundup. Rumor number one, I talked to my number one source. A lot of rumors out there that Michigan will pour it on against Colorado State, maybe Hawaii. Before I tell you the rumor heads I'm giving that one, I want to make sure you know what the rumor meter is. It's the Harbaugh head rumor meter. We've been doing this for the fourth season now. If it's 0 Harbaugh heads, that means it's fake news, absolutely ridiculous internet rumors. 1 Harbaugh head, small shred of truth. 2, people are talking, it's a rumor. 3, pretty likely. And if it's 4, it's the patented FACK fact. That's how Jim Harbaugh spells it. So that is how we spell it. I am giving this one 4 Harbaugh heads. Michigan planning in the early on. That's kind of why I teased us with that 200-point part at the beginning of the show. We'll pour it on. They're going to give the offensive units, both Cade McNamara as a starter and then J.J. McCarthy next week as a starter. But this week in particular is going to give Cade every opportunity to show what he can do, throwing the ball through the air. And then, of course, the two-headed running back tandem of Blake Corum and Diamond Edwards for Michigan. My insider, folks, I talked to the insider, said, expect Michigan to pour it on. Both quarterbacks want to shine, and he expanded on that. The concern is that, hey, we're just going to run it a bunch. What's it going to matter if we're handing the ball off 57 times? I'm the starter. I only get 12 passes, 15 passes. My backup comes in. Harbaugh will give both quarterbacks the opportunity to pour it on through the air, score as many points as possible. Because remember what we told you yesterday, right? What is Harbaugh looking for? Points per drive, third down efficiency, 2-minute drive efficiency, command of the playbook. All that will be shown in these first 2 games in the hope that one guy just completely stands out coming up in these first 2 games. Then maybe by the third game against UConn, September 17th, that Michigan could name their permanent starter. I think the sports books agree with me here because the opening line and the line that it was on Friday of last week, Thursday of last week, up until Saturday when Jim Harbaugh made the starting quarterback announcement, the line was about 26.5 points, 27.5 points. It popped up to 31. What does that signal? Well, certainly Colorado State hasn't gotten any worse. Michigan hasn't gotten that much better. But I do think that the sports books kind of agree, well, they're just not going to put one quarterback in and then run the ball for the rest of the game like some teams do when they get up by 30 points, 28 points, etc. Both guys will have the opportunity to score and pour it on. Michigan minus 31. I don't know, folks. That's a pretty interesting one. I will tell you this. The first half line, right, just for the first half, Michigan is minus 15.5. This could be my lock of the century, right? This could absolutely be my betting lock of the year, of the century, of the week, of today. Mortgage your house on it if you have to. Put your kids' college fund on it. If you're in college, don't pay this year's tuition until you make this bet. Then you can have an awesome spring break, right? Michigan, from what my source says, should be up by 40 points at halftime. They might score 42, 49, depends on what happens to the defense. Michigan minus 15.5 by lock of the year of the century. But I want to know from you guys, will Michigan score 50 points against Colorado State? Go down in the comments. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. I think it's an absolute yes. I think they'll be knocking on the door, 4 minutes left in the second quarter. But you guys let me know. Type Y or N down in the comments. And if you've got an insight into what Michigan's going to do, if you want to make some money like me with my lock of the century, of the year, of the week, go ahead and do it with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Promo code GOBLUE, no spaces. Go to chatsports.com/GoBlue. Got to use that link. Got to use the promo code. Screenshot it right now. Do whatever you have to do. Go there. You put in 100, 125% deposit bonus, 200. You have $250, 300. You get $475 in bonus all the way up to 500. Use BetUS. I bet there every week. Check my Twitter account Saturday morning. I put out my 5 picks for this Saturday's game. If you want to bet with me, chatsports.com/GoBlue. Use BetUS. Promo code GOBLUE. Next rumor on today's show, the Big Ten expansion. That seems to be the top story around maybe all sports over the last 6-8 weeks. Has it been paused? I'm giving this one 2 Harbaugh heads. Saw this tweet was sent to me by a coworker. The man's name, if you recall back, John Wilner. He is the one who broke the USC and UCLA story to the Big Ten. When that happened, back mid-June, mid-July, somewhere around there, about 6 weeks ago or so. He's basically saying line movement, and this is just hypothetical lines. Is it Pac-12 survival now a 5-point favorite? The line's going up, meaning that it's more likely, it's clearly not a game, more likely the Pac-12 will survive rather than the Big Ten, the Big 12 going in there and stealing the best 4, 6, 8 remaining teams. The reason? Chances of Big Ten expansion this cycle have diminished. We do not believe Ohio State supports additional moves, and that's a big vote against it. I don't think if Michigan and Ohio State are not aligned with what they want to do, if either one of them saying no, the other one saying yes, or they're against the rest of the conference, I personally don't think that's a go for the league. I don't care if it's 13 teams or 15 in a couple years, all say yes. If Michigan says no, Ohio State says no, I think that puts a pause in any future expansion. I personally think it's got to be Notre Dame as one of the teams as you get towards 20, but we will see what happens. But if he's saying that, it's not happening, Ohio State putting a pause on it, I think probably that means Ohio State wants to, hey, let's see what happens to USC and UCLA, and maybe let's pursue somebody who makes sense like a Notre Dame rather than going after a Washington. Maybe even, what makes sense might be a Virginia, North Carolina, teams like that. So don't expect any big moves from the Big Ten if John Wilner, what's his last name again there? Wilshire, whatever his name, you saw the tweet, if he is accurate in what he had. He had the first one. Let's see if he has this story on the Big Ten. I'm fine with 16 teams, folks. I am perfectly fine with 16 teams for the Big Ten. I like the addition of USC and UCLA. I think it's going to be weird for other conferences, other sports, men's volleyball, women's softball, where USC's got to go out and play at Nebraska and Rutgers and all this different stuff. But it makes a lot of sense for football. It makes a lot of sense for men's basketball. So I'm fine with 16 teams for now. If you add, don't make it the next Maryland or Rutgers. Make it high-impact teams. Next up, folks, on my rumors roundup, if you've watched the show the past few years, Wi-Fi at Michigan Stadium. I don't know how I missed this. I don't know how you guys missed this. I'm not sure how. No one's talking about this but me. Just came across my my radar yesterday. Do we have the photo here? We're doing one Harbaugh head for it, right? Sorry, I meant to toss it up there. One Harbaugh head for this one, meaning it's clearly happening. Toss the picture up there. Michigan's trying to put Wi-Fi in. You see the article stamp on there from July 15th. That's 6 weeks ago. University of Michigan deploys colossal Wi-Fi 6E campus network. Well, we all know that 5G is the fakest internet of all time. It's no faster than 4G, so apparently 6E may be more fake than that. But the reason I give it one Harbaugh head, it's not because I'm doubting that they're actually doing it. They are, and the article specifically says Michigan's going to electronic tickets for this year, and as such, they need to make sure that their fans can count on Wi-Fi near the stadium to pull up their tickets to scan the game when cell phone networks are unreliable. Well, here's my annual Wi-Fi rant, folks. Here is my annual Wi-Fi rant. How do you go and have the biggest stadium in the country, the second or third most money of any school when it comes to athletics in the country? You got 112, 113, 114,000 people in a stadium, and not only do you have Wi-Fi, you never even offered Wi-Fi, right? Stanford's had Wi-Fi for 12 years now. The University of Florida's had Wi-Fi in the stadium for 15 years. Basically, every arena out there, every stadium, pro stadium, has some sort of Wi-Fi. You're not sitting there in the 1930s at a game. I go to a game, if it's a good game, Michigan game, you come out, you've got 600 text messages. Your friends are texting you every play, all this different stuff. You're living in another galaxy. How this has not happened till now is an absolute abomination to the Michigan football program. But what I'm saying here is I don't trust Michigan that they're going to make it happen. I think you're going to hear all kinds of horror stories this weekend that people couldn't pull up their tickets, couldn't get in the game. They had to take them inside, connect to their account, all this different stuff because I don't trust that Michigan is going to roll out Wi-Fi a decade after everybody else. It's just going to magically work for 112,000 people on Saturday for the first trial run. So I think Michigan has a disaster waiting on their hands. Get Wi-Fi. You go to Afghanistan and get Wi-Fi. You could go to the jungles of Kenya and you've got Wi-Fi. You could be at a hostel in the middle of the Ukraine right now. They're getting bombed. You got Wi-Fi. Not at Michigan Stadium. They're going to try and roll it out. That, folks, has been my annual Michigan football stadium Wi-Fi rant. Where will you be watching the game this Saturday? I will be watching it at home. I'm typing H, and then we're going to do our live post-game show. Not live post-game show. We're going to have our post-game show immediately after the game. So I want to know from you guys, where will you watch Michigan versus Colorado State? If it's the stadium, type S. Home like me, type H. At a bar, B. If you're watching it with a friend's house, go ahead and type F. Let me know down in the comments, folks. All right. Michigan, Colorado State coming up on Saturday. We have got 3 more shows coming for you this week. We've got our preview. We've got offensive and defensive depth chart, and we'll try and sneak in one more show potentially in there the rest of this week. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Maybe we'll combine a show or two. We'll see. All right, stick with us. Make sure you subscribe. Until I see you next time, though, go Blue.